Steve Kettlear and Dan Dybert, welcome to the conversation when it comes to home ownership versus renting. Home ownership is 45% cheaper. We're joined by real estate expert Barbara Van Poole. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, and that percentage, the 45% cheaper, depends on where you are. That's the national average, and you are actually even luckier than that in your area because it's approximately 60% less expensive in your area.
All right, so that would be Iowa, Illinois?
Rent. Yes.
You know, here's the problem, though. That's a good number, 60%, sure. Nobody can get a loan anymore. I mean, that seems to be one of the big issues right now.
Well, and you're absolutely right about it being an issue. I wouldn't, it does depend on somebody's credit and work history, but there are definitely loans still available out there, and for people who can qualify, they're as cheap as 3.5%. So it just depends on your specific situation, and you would, of course, want to be consulting with a realtor and with a reputable lender.
Well, when you mentioned 3.5%, you're also looking at mortgages where, depending on what you're going to put down, how much skin you're going to put in the game, has a big effect on that interest rate, does it not?
Well, it depends on the price range of the home that you're going for, and it depends on your credit. But it could be as low as 5 to 10% down, depending on the type of loan you're getting.
Sure. What do you see down the road here as the population, the baby boomer generation, the McMansion generation, starts to sell out of that home inventory? Are people going to be picking that up and buying into it, or is that going to be another bubble that's out there that may pull the market down?
And I think you raise a very valid question. I think that our population is going to continue to increase. So I think we're going to continue to have demand for homes.
Sure, I agree with that, but I guess my point is, will incomes be able to afford homes like that as the population moves forward?
Well, and of course that depends on our economy.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting here trying to go between there are some people who it's obviously better to rent for, but the problem is with the economy being the way it is, rents are, and this helps with the numbers why it's so much cheaper to own a home. The rents are skyrocketing now because it really is a landlord's market, right?
Well, and you're definitely right about that. And one of the things that you take into consideration when you're getting ready to buy a home is how long you're going to stay in that home. And in your area, the break-even point is about 2.5 years. So if you're going to be in a home longer than 2.5 years, then it definitely makes sense to be purchasing.
Really? See, I would have guessed 5-6 years.
Well, with interest rates so low, and again, it of course depends on what you're qualifying for and the price of the home that you're buying. But if you're buying the median price home for your area, that break-even point is about 2.5 years.
Is that something like a realtor or a lender could help you figure out and say, look, here's what I'm going to qualify for. Here's my situation. What is my break-even point?
Exactly, and they can definitely help you figure that out.
Well, there's some great websites out there too, Trulia.com and Zillow, I think, is going to be going public here pretty soon, that you can look up home information, and it's just amazing the amount of tools that you have out there to help make a decision or search around for what you're looking for.
And I think that is really a wonderful trend that we have right now, is to provide people with more and more and more information so that they can make the best decisions for themselves and their families.
Well, Barbara, thanks for helping out in the conversation this morning.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Barbara Van Poole, our real estate expert.